Welcome back to Confronting Shoggoth. I'm somehow still ill, and I'm off to play a gig quite shortly, so this will be a short one today. I think you can hear me. I think it's all good. Should all be fine. So, let's get going. If I can... there we go. Oh yeah. It's currently Sunday, 11:30 here anyway. Let me know what you're up to. If you're joining for a quick bit of hobbying. Or if I'm just on in the background. It's been a long but good week for me. I'm finishing it with a deep frog gig, which will be interesting. We had a rehearsal, a quick rehearsal last night, but that's the first one we've had since the last gig. Well, we only had one then as well, so not feeling that confident. Plus, I am a cymbal down. But as long as I can get feeling relatively normal by stage time, I'm going to take my practice pad, do lots of warming up, get some food, and hopefully that'll be enough to feel comfortable, hopefully. Then I can perform. I'd like to put on a good show tonight. The rehearsal last night sounded really good, but I felt very uncomfortable because it was all the drums were the wrong. The hi-hat stands didn't go high enough, anywhere near high enough. I have my snare very high. I'm quite tall. I have my seat quite high, so I need my snare quite high, which means I need my hi-hats quite high. But the hi-hats were like this, far above the snare. So I was like, and I'm missing a big crash. Because I bought that Kaz crash and then it was too quiet, so I've sent it back. I'm gonna order another one. You can see a review of that on my channel. And then, so I've borrowed a ride. I couldn't borrow a crash. I couldn't borrow a big crash. No one's got a crash big enough. No one that I know anyway. So I borrowed a ride and I'm using my ride as a crash. But the ride I'm borrowing is very quiet and my ride is very loud as a crash. So it might be a bit overpowering. But maybe I'll stick some tape on it or a t-shirt or something. We'll see. We'll see how sound check goes. Sound check is in 4 hours. I've got to do this stream, shower, eat, become human before then. So I'm not feeling human right now. But I wanted to get this stream done because I like consistency. And if there's any of you that have been waiting for it, I didn't want you to wait and not get it. So here we are. Man, I went to one of the best gigs of my life on Friday. It was Tesseract at the O2 Forum, Kentish Town. It's so hard to explain in words. They really outdid themselves. I think it's the first time they've been there in quite a while, like been in London, because of lockdown and stuff. I'm not sure if they've even had a gig there since then. I know there was a gig that kept getting delayed. I don't think it was that one, but I'm not 100% certain. It may well have been. We were seated for it as well, which was a new experience for me. I was seated for Radiohead, which funnily enough, so Friday, I would say it's absolutely one of the best gigs I've ever been to. And it's also the second best light show I've ever seen. The first best was Radiohead, and I was also sitting for Radiohead, but that was because we couldn't get standing tickets. We elected to go seated for this gig because we thought it would just be nice. The last few standing gigs we've been to have been pretty exhausting. It was quite hard to sit for that long. Sit on the train up, sit to eat, sit for like, let's say 3.5 hours in the venue. The supports were really good. Yeah, let's talk about the supports. So the first support was Callous Boys, which is not really my thing. It's like shouty math rock, which is sometimes my thing. And I really appreciated that they were doing something different with the genre. I love Fall of Troy, but Fall of Troy are probably the only shouty mathy bands I like. I never really got into Dillinger or anything like that, but I appreciate it. We used to have some shouty math bands in my town, but they don't exist anymore, which is a shame. A band called Bastard Ice Cream. Before that they were called Dinosaur Attack, I think. Great band. But it was like, it's different when you're seeing it in a little... It's different when you got gigs every weekend at the pub you work at. And some of them can be a bit samey. Some of them can be not that interesting. And then you get gems like that. It's really fun to watch. And they were really cool. I loved their energy. The guitarist had a really good energy. She was really interesting. She just went wild. It was good. So they were good. But then the band that followed them, Unprocessed, were amazing. They keep being suggested to me on YouTube. I keep forgetting to check them out. And then I saw that they were doing the support for Tesseract, and I was supposed to check them out, but I still never did. And I'm sort of glad I didn't, because I'm not sure if it would have had the same impact as seeing them live. They were extremely good. A cross between Polyphia, Animals as Leaders, and like Mick Gordon. It's like Doom soundtrack with a few pretty riffs and 8 strings. And like the guys' vocals, these guys weren't old. They were young guys. And the guy had amazing distorted vocals and then even more amazing cleans. And he was like smashing an 8-string with mental rhythms the entire set. Apart from one song maybe where he used a 6-string. So how can you be that talented at 3 different instruments essentially? It was incredible. And yeah, I'm definitely going to check those guys out again. Really, really good. And then Tesseract, which, I mean, they played basically every song I wanted to hear, apart from April. But I didn't even remember that until like a day after, until like yesterday. Didn't even realise that they didn't play April because the set was so good. It didn't matter. It was a banging set. We had to miss the encore, but we got half the encore. Which was what, Deception and Acceptance or something. I can't remember if it's Deception. I'm pretty sure the second one was Acceptance. We missed those because we had to go get the train home. But the whole set was incredible. They played all the new tracks, all the tracks off the new album that I wanted to hear. They played Juno and everything off everything I wanted to hear. Nocturne. It's just a perfect set. And they were all on fire. I think James might have had some problems with his guitar for the first 2 songs. He was off stage. But it wasn't. It didn't put a downer on the show or anything. Hopefully it didn't stress him out too much, because that stuff can be super stressful. But it didn't affect the sound or the performance. It was like still sick. They started the set with Natural Disaster, which is like a bold and difficult song to start a set with. I think that's the first track of the new album. Just incredible anyway. Incredible start to finish. Really, really good. I will say though, if they took a little bit less time with the going off stage for the encore, would have caught more of that encore. But it's all for dramatic effect. But it was a flawless gig. What a band to see live. The most impressive thing for me, obviously, I'm a drummer, so I would have thought I would have been focusing on Jay most of the time because he's very good. But I was really blown away with Dan. His vocals. Like, I really admire his vocals in the studio anyway. But hearing them live is extremely impressive. One of the first sets that got me into them on YouTube was one of the ones they did maybe at like Scala. It's a small gig, but his voice really blew me away on that. Check that out. It should be on YouTube. That's where I found it. But yeah, I won't be missing them again. They will be a band that I will be regularly attending shows whenever they're within that 60-mile radius. Really, I can't travel further than London, but London's about 60 miles from here. But it has okay trains. You can get back from London if you sometimes miss the encore. Have to leave at like 10 to 11 to get home. I think the set probably went to about 11. It is nice when bands finish a bit earlier. They finish at sort of 10:30, 11:15. Then you get to do that bit at the end where take a photo and not take a photo with the band. That's like way later, or like VIP beforehand. But take the big group crowd shot and maybe catch a stick or something. It's nice to see that emotion from the band when they've just finished a set anyway. You sometimes get it. Maybe they'll play Brighton or something, and we can drive. Brighton's a bit closer, it's about 40 miles. And a lot easier to drive to because it's not London. No one wants to drive to London. It's all A roads from here to Brighton. Whereas London is motorway and like hellish traffic. But yeah, that is absolutely the highlight of the week. Highlight of the month. Cannot overstate how difficult Dan's vocal parts are and how consistently he nails them on stage. It's bloody brilliant. I don't even know what else I did this week. I got a gym session in, I got a jiu-jitsu session in. The usual. Got a recording session in, finishing off, or attempting to finish off the first song. Just like solo needs to be done. Needs to be recorded, but I think we're getting there with that solo now. So should be able to record that next time. Didn't manage to get half of it done and like a structure for it. The session last Wednesday, and also managed to get all the rhythm guitars for the second song done. So that's grand. It's all looking good. We're in the studio Wednesday for a rehearsal, which is really a writing session. We'll be finishing the third song, hopefully starting the fourth song. Hopefully finishing the third song to an extent where I can come home and program the drums and start demoing it. Because our bassist is the tech for Kid Capici, so he is off on tour for all of April, I think. So we want to get a chunk of stuff done before then, so then me and the guitarist we'll have stuff to work on while the bassist is away. Recording and polishing and a little bit of writing. I've got a load of songs that I want to butcher and rewrite. Like I've got parts of songs I'm really happy with and I'd like to make them new songs. Alright, come on. Don't mess about. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to see Tesseract or even Unprocessed, do it. And if you like shouty math rock, absolutely go see Calistar Boys. They're very fun. And like I said, I appreciate that they're doing something a little bit different with the genre. Who am I going to see next? I think we'll be going to Brighton to see my friend's band, which are called Inhuman Nature. They're supporting Crowbar, which is a hell of a gig for them. They're on tour with them at the moment, and they're playing. They're up Well, they're up in Ireland. I think they're up in Ireland last night. So they'll be making their way down to the bottom of the UK now. They'll be down in Brighton on the 5th of March. So I think we're going to go over to that. Just got to make sure we get tickets. Hopefully do that this week. Which will be nice. It'll just be nice to see Kirk, really. Little dwarven metal god. How's this work? Alright, you don't really... let's take some of your fatness away, yes. We're going for an hour today, so not very long. Apologies for that. I was hoping to get this done last time, but looks like we won't even get it done this time. But I suppose there's no rush. I've got some pieces lined up, got some sketches lined up ready for after this, when this piece is finished. Don't think it will take more than 3 more. Too late, I ruined that. That was quite good. That'll do. I think you still come in too much there. So, let me know what gigs you've been to recently and what you're going to see soon. I've got wicked wisdom tooth pain at the moment. I've got naproxen for my back. And this is an anti-inflammatory. It's pretty good for the tooth pain as well. So hopefully they'll kick in soon. Or also let me know if you got any gigs. If you're playing any gigs. If you're playing any gigs in Brighton or Hastings, tell me and I will come. I will come to your gig. I will buy your merch. I got a very nice Tesseract tee. I usually like to buy the Torties, and it was a really nice one, but they didn't have a double XL, and unfortunately XL was a bit tight on me. So I didn't get the Tortie, but I've always wanted to get a long sleeve and never felt justified. But this time I couldn't get a Tortie, so I got the long sleeve. It's really nice. Always try and buy a tour t-shirt when I go see a band, because I mean, it's how they make their money, really. It's nice to have a commemorative tour thing. It's really nice colours. It's like a yellow red, yellow fade to red, or like yellow fade to orange. It was very pretty, but the long sleeve I got although not torty, is very nice. It's going to be a perfect like lounge around the house. Long sleeve in the winter. I wore it last night to practice, which was a stupid idea. It's far too hot. Yeah. Should we do some random questions? Interesting. Have you ever walked out of a movie? I don't think when we were about 14, actually let's look up the date of this movie so I can give you an accurate age. Oh, not that one. That one was good. So the movie is called White Noise, and it's not the one that came out recently with Adam Driver, because that movie was actually really good. 2005, so I was 14 or 15. Yeah, wow. A group of us went, and some walked out. I'm not sure if we walked out. Some of us walked out. My God, it's the worst film I've ever seen. It's supposed to be a horror, but it was like Michael Keaton, so it was Batman with like the Three Stooges as ghosts. Not actually, but my God. Worst movie I've ever seen. I've watched some crap at the cinema. We used to just sort of go to the cinema every few weeks when we were kids. I swear I watched no, that's the wrong word. Not Hound of the Baskervilles. That's it's a Sherlock Holmes one. Some weird movie with. Oh no, it's too early for me. It's too early for my. Well, my brain hasn't woken up yet, so I can't remember the names of any actors, unfortunately. But Tom Hanks. Right, Tom Hanks movies. Let's look at them. I can't even really remember the plot. I just remember this movie being really disturbing. I think we watched it like 3 weeks in a row. There's a cinema called. I grew up in Brighton, and there was a cinema called the Duke of York's, and they used to play like. It felt like random movies. He's done so many movies, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find it. I will look though. The Burbs, that was it. God. Yes, that was 1989. Yes, they used to just. I didn't watch it then. I wasn't even born in 1989. They used to just sort of play older movies every maybe Saturday. And there was a group of us kids that used to go there from school. I swear they played this movie multiple times. I'm sure I've watched it multiple times. I'm still not really sure what it's about. I probably knew then, but it was nearly 30 years ago, so. Probably used to go watch these movies in about 97, 98. Anyway, never walked out of the Burbs despite it being... I remember it being bad. I don't know how bad it truly was. Could talk you in a bit, couldn't I? I'll leave it. Yeah, White Noise. A movie worth walking out from. If you're ever in the mood to walk out from a movie. I just remember thinking, I can't believe that this is a film. That this is a film that someone has made. That this was allowed to be made. So I'm thinking, this is so bad. I mean, we were a bit spoiled. Yeah, we were all like Tarantino fans, so we had Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, and Kill Bill. Kill Bill would have come out around the same time. Kill Bill might have come out in 2002 and then 2004, actually. (2003). When was part 2? 2004. Yeah. So we were pretty spoiled around that time. Well, we also loved The Matrix and Fight Club, the normal movies that 14-year-olds love. And I still have a soft spot for those movies, for sure. I still think they're masterpieces, really. I did see an analysis on Fight Club the other day that put me off it a bit, but not enough to like ruin it for me. Not enough to ruin the memories of it for me. I remember I was the only one. I had a VHS of Fight Club. I was the only one with one, so people used to keep coming around to mine and be like, "Oh, can we watch Fight Club?" So I ended up watching it 3 times in a week. Then I probably never watched it again. That's probably the end of it for me. Leon. True Romance. So these are still all my favourite movies. True Romance is still my favourite movie. I love Leon. I think the first date that me and my partner went on, or one of them, I mean, stuff was kind of closed. It was like the beginning of lockdown, pretty much. But Leon was showing a little independent cinema on my road, so we went and saw that. Which I think is an awesome first date. Maybe not first date. First date you should talk. I don't think it was first date anyway. Oh, but I actually wasn't living on that road at the time. Oh, I'd moved away from that road. But I had been... I'd moved away from that road but it used to be the road I lived on just before the place I lived after. Please, sir. There's a button on this that does right click, and sometimes it's hard to avoid. So that's why that keeps popping up, if you're wondering. Yeah, we're making some headway here. Another random question. Do you play any sports? I don't know if I've answered this already. No. I do a bit of boxing. Occasionally. I do powerlifting. Squat, bench and deadlift. Sometimes we'll chuck in a bit of strongman stuff just because it's fun. Farmer's walk. One of my favourites. And I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I don't play any sports. I mean, at the moment I'm living in a place that is empty and in the middle of nowhere. And all we have is a basketball hoop. But the ground is so uneven. I've rolled my ankle several times on it. But yeah, we go up and play a bit of basketball, kick a football around. I don't play basketball or football. I remember being quite good at football when I was a kid, but I had friends in like the local kids league, and I wasn't on their level. I just remember easily getting the ball off the guy that everyone said was the best footballer in school. And I also remember getting the ball kicked at my face. Not purposefully. But that sucks. But no, I never played sports. Used to skateboard. Just never been into sports. I've done martial arts most of my life. Kickboxing, boxing, Wing Chun, Jiu-Jitsu. I think I did like 3 classes of judo. 1 as a kid, 2 as an adult maybe. But I find judo quite daunting. Because I don't know enough about it. I know a fair amount now from the judo that is in jiu-jitsu. But it's still very different. Obviously. But I know like quite a few throws. But there's probably hundreds in judo, right? I might know 5 to 10% of them. Starving. Keep going for another 15 minutes. And I'll be off. Got a lot to do. Apologies again for the short one today. I just could not get it arranged for streaming yesterday, which was my original plan. Just had to. Initially, the rehearsal was supposed to be Thursday, but that got cancelled, so it had to be yesterday. Just no time. I think I must have been in hair mode when I did that one. It's all curly. I think it needs to cut in, doesn't it? It's cutting up here. Something like that. Not sure if you could hear that, but I think my partner's brother is getting a PS5. I haven't had a console since the Xbox 360. Was planning on getting an Xbox Series X, but not really. If I can't even find time to do a bit of game on the PC, I don't feel like a console's worth it. Also, I'd love a Switch to play Zelda. Long way behind. A long way behind. I did manage to play a bit of The Last of Us this week. I got to the... Where am I at? I got to we did the driving bit. Weren't in control of the vehicle. I don't know if you are later. Well, I doubt it. Not that vehicle anyway. It crashed. And like got through that all the humans, I think. But yeah, turning that generator on in the basement, and then running to the keycard door, and then that bloater. That's easily the most stressed I've been so far in that game. I died a couple of times. It was unpleasant. I don't like how this one is going. Yeah. It's fine. Wisdom tooth pain sucks. Let's get another question. Where did you last go on holiday? To the New Forest, and it was the best place I've ever been, and I fell in love with it. I would love to move there. I love animals, and basically anywhere you drive, there will be like pigs or cows or sheep just in the road. Donkeys are the most stubborn. They just weren't moving. It was great. You'd be late to everything. And you'd have the best reason. But a load of donkeys in the road. Couldn't get to work, sir. Not that anyone calls their boss sir, do they? I hope not. Yeah, I don't go on holiday often. I would like to go back there every year because it was just wonderful. Great to just be surrounded by loads of animals. And I love cows. Cows are good. Cows were pretty docile. One of them was a bit livid at one point. The rest were very chill. They're just so big. So big. June Part 2's just come out. I'm going to try and get to the cinema to see that because I reckon that's going to be awesome. Ooh, who are your favourite actors? Gary Oldman. It's pretty much always been my favourite actor. Fifth Element, Leon, True Romance. Just plays great characters in all my favourite movies. Thought he was great Gordon as well. In Batman. In the Chris Nolan Batmans. Oh, that reminds me, I still need to see Oppenheimer. Oh, come on, lines. Who else? There's people like Brad Pitt who I never thought much of until like 12 Monkeys. I love Edward Norton, though I've heard he can be a bit of a dick, but I suppose everyone can. No, it wasn't that he was a dick, was it? It was that people were complaining that he quite rightly demanded final edit on American History X. If you're playing like a neo-Nazi in a movie, I think it's fair to want say on the final edit, you're playing a heinous character. I don't think that's deviry. That's very much okay to want final edit on a movie like that. But yeah, I like Edward Norton. Sam Rockwell. I binged a load of Sam Rockwell movies. When I watched Moon, I was so impressed with Moon. Moon was like my top movie for the last 10 years when I watched it. It was probably like 2010 that came out, right? Or maybe I watched it around then. 2009. I probably watched it around 2010. That movie was amazing. And then I, went and watched like, what was it, seven Psychopaths and stuff like that. Went and watched a load of Sam Rockwell movies. Really enjoyed him as an actor. And Kevin Spacey's just come up. And obviously, Kevin Spacey's not a good dude. But I did used to like him. What was that movie? American Beauty. I remember liking that movie. But yeah, Kevin Spacey's not a good dude, so cannot support him. I pretty much refuse to separate artists from art. I did think of a circumstance the other day when I did manage to do it, but I cannot remember what that was. But I really struggle with that. Something I wish I could do, but I just can't. It's fine. 7 as well. 7 was really good for Brad Pitt. DiCaprio. Let's talk about DiCaprio. It was a long time until I started liking him. Because I watched his movies growing up. Basketball Diaries and Who's Eating Gilbert Grape and that really horrible one with oh my god, he was in Critters 3. This Boy's Life. So I grew up with him and I liked him in those movies, and then I'm not sure what the turning point was. It might have been Shutter Island, because I really liked The Beach as well. Oh, Marvin's Room as well. See, I really liked all these movies growing up. I think it might have just been Titanic that made me stop liking him, maybe, or maybe saw him maybe made me see him for the first time, and then I thought that that's what he was. And then I think probably Shutter Island is what won me back over. And then Django really won me back over. I think for a while he seemed like a big Hollywood actor. I really liked Romeo and Juliet as well. Damn, I like a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio movies. I didn't think much of him for a time anyway. Despite the excellent work he's done that I had enjoyed previously. Even Gangs of New York, the worst Irish accent ever. Still enjoyed Gangs of New York. Not for DiCaprio though. Probably for what's his face? Mr. Serious Moustache. I think we can call him that. Daniel Day-Lewis. Oh, well, that just reminded me of an actress that I very much like, which is Juliette Lewis. And Natalie Portman. They're probably my favourite actresses. What's going on with this thing? Alright, it's 12:30. We've been an hour. I should probably wrap this up, because I do have quite a lot to get done. But I really appreciate you being here for this amount of time, for this small, short period. And we will be back to normal next week. And maybe I'll do an extra long one. Make sure you have a stretch and some water. I hope you have a great day or great evening. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching. Farewell.